Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mohammed Idris, and today we're gonna be discussing on a topic called as linked list. Okay, maybe like single linked list. Today we're gonna be teaching you how to create a node and how to link the nodes, right? In full on. Now, coming to this, like I have this data. I have this data, like let's say 10, 20, and 30, and 40. I want to connect this data so that I want one space, memory space, so that it can hold the address of it, right? Hold the address of another data. So I'll be creating similar data. Now, coming to this, to my compiler, the address size is like 8 bytes and integer size is 4 bytes, and 4 bytes is for padding. And you have something called as 12, and padding concept, you guys know it, like previous video you have seen it, right? So now coming to this, whenever I create a first node, okay, I want what all the data I wanted it. One is like address type, other one is what integer type, right? So that what I'll do it. So how do I write a program for that? How do I write a program? I want to use a non-primitive data and to create my own data type, right? Which creates the 12 bytes. So how do I write it? I'll tell it has I'll use a structure. I'll tell it has node, and I'll open this and I'll close this. What is very important? The semicolon is very important. Now coming to here. So first one, what I needed it. One is address I wanted it. Other one is a data I wanted it, right? So two variables I wanted it. So address means what? It is storing address. Do you have data type for the address? No, you don't have any data type for the address. So what I will do it, you'll use a special character called as star, right? Now coming to here, I'll tell you what is that data, which is the data you're using here. This type of data, it is nothing but integer data, right? It is a integer data. Now coming to this, guys, I have not told the type here. I have not told the type here, right? Now look onto this. I'll be going to here. If I have an address here, if I go to here, how many bytes I want to read it from initial address? From initial address, how many bytes I need to read it? Right? You know, if I tell character, it will read only 1 byte. If I tell integer, it will only read 4 bytes. If I tell double, it will only read 8 bytes. If I tell float, again, it will read it only 4 bytes. But how many bytes I want to read it? 12 bytes I want to read it. Right? From initial address, after going to the initial address, it need to read how many bytes? 12 bytes. Who will tell me the type of it? Right? So I want to create a node type, right? So that is nothing but what I need to tell it. It is a node type. Address, what I was saving is a node type, right? Maybe like structure type. It is a structure. Node is a structure type. Done. Now what I want to do is I want to create what? I want to create a memory. I want to create a block of 12 bytes. How do I create a block of 12 bytes? How do I create a block of that memory bytes? By using what? Dynamically. How I create it? How I create it dynamically? I'll create it by a malloc function, right? I'll create a malloc function. I will put it in a separate block. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm putting in the separate block, because I'll be creating n number of, I'll be running this, I'll be creating n number of times. So whenever I wanted it, right? So that I will create a block. I will create a block. Inside this block, I will tell it has malloc method, right? To this malloc method, what I need to give the parameter, I want to give the size as a parameter. I can either give 12 directly. I can tell it 12 as it is. Okay, but what if I change the structure? At that time, again, I want to change it here, right? Again, I want to change it manually. If I change it here, it should affect to here. At that time, I will write a logic for it. So how do I write a logic for it? I'll tell it as size of, I'll tell it as what I will tell it, size of whom, size of whom, size of node I want to tell it, right? Size of node I want to tell it. Node is what? Structure type. Node is what? Structure type. So I'll put it a semicolon now. So I will put it semicolon now. To this line, what is happening? To this line, what is happening? It is creating this node. It is creating node of 12 bytes. It is getting the initial address. It is getting the initial address. So this malloc will return me void star type, right? So I want to save it into the one variable. This is getting, malloc is getting something, right? If someone gives you something, what you will do it, you will show your hand, right? You will show your hand forward, right? So that they will give to you. Now what happens now? Same thing, it happens. Malloc is getting something, lay bhai, right? So you need to receive it. So what I'll do it, I'll take one variable. Let's take the variable is what? Temporary variable. Or else yesterday I have taken t, right? A variable called as t, right? So I'll take it as t. Now I want to declare the t, guys. I want to declare the t. If I don't declare the t, I will get a beautiful slab. So I'll declare a t. So what I'm storing inside t? I'm storing the address, right? I'm storing what? Address. So I'll be using what? I'll be using it what? Pointer type, right? Which type of address I'm storing it? Which type of address it is returning it? It is returning 12 bytes. Okay, whether he's returning integer type, void type, float type, double type. No, he's creating a block of node type, right? He's creating a block of node type. He's creating a block of node type, and node is nothing but what? Structure. Node is what? Structure. So now coming to here, there is one problem, one small problem. This malloc will return void star type, but he's saving inside what? Node star type. So what I need to do it, I need to typecast it. So what I'll do it, I'll typecast. I'll open the flower bracket and close the flower bracket. I'll tell it has node star, and node is nothing but what? Node is nothing but what? Structure type. So I'll tell it as structure type. So this is what the line is. For this line, for so much, what you will do it, you are created this node. You are created this node. Okay. What is the first step you do it, guys? What is the first step you do it? After creating a node, what you'll do it, you will insert the data inside this blocks, right? You will insert the data inside this blocks. So inside the t, there is one variable called as t. Inside t, you have the address, right? What is the address you have it inside t? What is the address you have it? You have the address called as 1000, right? Here you have address called as 1000 when you're creating for the first time. Here I'll come to here, I'll be telling it as, okay, inside t you have 1000. Now what I need to do it, I want to travel to this one, right? I need to travel to this one. What I need to do it, from t I want to go to here. How do I write it? How do I write that program? From t means what? 1000, right? So you know that, right? T means 1000. I want to go to that block. So what I'll do it, I'll tell it as star, right? There is a circular thing, right? There is an object. How you will go inside the object? You will tell it as a dot operator, right? You will tell it a dot operator. Now dot and star has a precedence rule, right? There is a different precedence rule. What you'll do it, you will open this bracket and you will close this bracket, right? So you'll close this bracket. Now inside this, you are inside the block now, right? You are inside the block now. Now where you want to go it, either you can go it to here, either you can go it to here. What is the area of this one? Name of this area, there is nothing but address. This is nothing but what? Data, right? Address and data. So what I'll do it now, simple thing I'll do it, I'll tell it as address. At the initial stage, I'll do it to this one as null. I'll tell it as null. And later what I'll do it, same thing for this one, what I'll do it, I will go it, I want to travel to that block. So to go inside that circular thing, I will tell it as dot operator. Dot has a highest precedence than star, so I'll apply the Bodmas rule. Then what I'll do it, I'll tell it as data, right? Data equal to what I'll tell it, 10. I'll tell it. For now manually I'll tell it, right? For now manually I'll tell it, right? Since you can have n number of block, I want to recognize this block. What I'll tell it, I'll give a name for this block. Okay, what is the name I'll give it? According to the algorithm, I'll tell it as insert. Okay, I can even pass the parameters to this block. How do I pass the parameters? From the I can pass the arguments for this inside this parameter by using the open and close. So what I'll do it, I'll tell it as a local variable. I'll create it here by a local variable called as data. So if I tell this, it will be like generalized. Instead of 10, I can tell it as data here, right? From a main method itself, I can call this method. I'll tell it as insert. I'll tell it as insert, insert of 10. I can tell it. Insert of 10. I can tell it. Done, guys. So what happens? Insert of 10, when you call the function, call the block, you will call this block and will tell that structure node is created. And what happens? This malloc will create a block, and inside the block, inside the address place, you are storing null, and inside the data, you are storing what? Data itself. Inside the data, you are storing what? Data itself. Done. So much clear, guys. So much clear. And since this method is not returning anything, I'll tell it as some other thing. So much you cleared it. So much you cleared it. Let me know about this. If you're clear with so much, that's more than enough. One thing. Instead of this one, instead of this line, okay. Why this concept I teach you? Because it is like sensible for you. आपको पता चल रहा है क्या हो रहा है इधर करके, okay. So again, you can use it something like this also, okay. You can tell it as, I'll put it in a comment. I can even tell it as that direction operator and tell it as address equal to, I'll tell it as okay, I have done it here, right? So it will be better, right? So I'll comment it. I can write the same line as like this, of address equal to, I'll tell it as null, right? So again, I'll tell it as here, I'll tell it as t direction of data equal to data. I'll tell it. Done with all. So now let's go for here. Yes, Anshu, you are telling something, right? So it is something like this, okay, something like this. Look here, I'm using a malloc function. I'll include this, include stdlib.h. Okay, so can we use 0 to the instead of cell? Yes, null, you can do it. Okay, so something like this, hash define, you can tell it as your own null, you can create it and you can assign it to 0. Okay, your own null you can tell it. Now what I can do it, instead of uppercase null is nothing but already defined it, right? Already defined it. So you can use it your our own null now, right? So what I'll do it, I'll tell it as null here, right? So I can tell it as null now, nothing to worry about. Now coming to this, okay, so we have created it, everything is done. Now later on what I do is I will create one more node. Okay, I will create one more time, I will call it, right? So I'll tell it as insert, I'll tell it as 20 here now, right? I'll call insert and I'll tell it as 20. What happens now? Again, insert method is called, again it is telling that it is a local variable, it is created now. Again, a new malloc is created. It will create a new node. It will create what? A new node. It will create a new node. Now new node is created. This malloc will get the initial address. This initial address is saved where? Initial address is saved inside the t now, right? Now t will become what? 2000. Now t will become what? 2000. Okay, I'll be creating a new node, guys. I'll be creating a new node, and this address is stored inside the t. Inside the t. Now first thing what I'll do it, I will store here first thing what I did it here, first thing I have did it, I have stored it as a null, right? Here also when I create a node, I will store it null, and again I'll tell it as 20, right? I have created 20, right? Till here we have done it, right? So same thing is happening, this is done. Now अगर से लिंक ही नहीं किया तो लिंक लिस्ट नहीं बनेगा, right? So I want to link this node with this node, right? I want to link this node with this node, right? So when I'm creating this node, guys, when I'm creating this node, I have forgot this one, right? Address of this one, right? I have forgot the address of this one. So that what I'll do is whenever I create a first node, I will store it in a variable called as root. Okay, this is a root I'll create it. Why I'm storing it? Because y se shuru hota hai na. So what I'll do it, I will create here root, I will create here root, and I will tell it as what here, I'll tell it as 1000. Okay, so I will tell it as 1000 here, right? So why I'm creating it? To hold the initial node address. Agar the starting point mujhe mil gaya, right? So when you go to exam, it will be like this, right? Agar se mujhe starting ek word mil gaya to main pura answer likh dunga, correct, right? So in that way, this root that important the root is, right? I'll come here, I want to store it, right? First I want to declare it. First I want to declare the root. So why I'll tell it as a root here, I'll do it globally. Why I'm doing globally? It should access with everyone, right? It should access to everyone. So root is storing address, so I'll tell it as a star. Which type of address it is storing it? It is storing the non-primitive type of address. So look here, guys, I want to declare this below this itself, below the structure. Okay, वरना वो structure में ढूंढता रहेगा, right? Star, it is a structure type, so I'll tell it has node, and this node is what? Structure type. This node is what? Structure type. Done with so much? Now the structure node and star of root. Done with this, right? So now what I do is, so much is done. If you are creating the first node, how will we get to know it is a first node, guys? Yesterday we have spoken about this. How will we get to know it is a first node? We will get to know it is a first node when the root variable is what? Null, right? When you are creating for the first time, you are creating a node, right? At the time root will be what? Null, right? We have not assigned anything. So what I'll do is I'll come here, I'll tell it as, I'll check it out. If root equal to, I'll tell it as null. It is my own null I have created it, right? So null we have created here as defined null equal to 0, we have done it, right? So what I'll do it, if I write it like this, what I'll do it, guys, what I'll do it, I'll open this and I will close this. I will assign the root value. So what I'll do it, I'll tell it as root equal to what I will tell it, t I will tell it. So जो भी t में है वो आके इसमें चले जाएगा. So later on what I'll tell it as a return what? Nothing, you need to return it. Why I'm returning it? Because I am ending my function over there, so it should not go for the next line. Okay, this happens when you're creating for the first node. Okay, when you're creating for the first node, this root will become what? 1000 now. This root will become what? 1000 now. Now you are creating actually a second node. When you're creating a second node, actually this root is actually pointing to this one now. Now to the actual diagram, this root is pointing to this one now, right? Now what I need to do it, this node is created. Okay, this node is created. If I change the root, it will be affected, right? So I will lose this data, right? If I write it here 2000, if the root will get connected to here and it will break his friendship. But I told you that girlfriend wala task, right? So there is one girlfriend, there is one more new girlfriend, right? So what happens? This will forget, this will, instead of 1000, if you write 2000, he's going to him, right? So what I need to do it, I want to interlink it. So what I need to do it, I want to copy this address to here. I want to copy this address to this position. I want to copy it. So how do I copy it? That's the main funda of it. Okay, that one logic, I want your complete patience. That one logic, I told you that jumping statement will come across. I have told you, right? So those things you need to do across. Okay, so now look onto this. Look onto this. Look onto this. I will come here. I will come here. If root is not equal to null, if root is equal to null, then it is a first node. Okay, done, no problem. If it is not a first node, if root is not equal to null, okay, if it is a second node, what I need to do it, I need to link it. I want to link it. At that time, what I'll do is I will create one more variable by name what? I'll create a one more variable by name what? temp, right? I'll tell that's temporary. I had told you temporary variable, right? So I had told you temporary variable. Inside this temporary variable, I'll copy the initial address root. Okay, so मैं क्यों root copy कर रहा हूँ? क्योंकि ये मुझे बहुत जरूरी चीज है, right? Why I'm not using the root? Because I should not to reinitialize this root. If I reinitialize this root, I will lose my all data. I'll lose my what? All data. So what I'll do it, I'll copy this this whatever I have it in the root, I will copy to one variable called as temporary variable. I'll copy this thing into the temporary variable. So this will become what? 1000 now. So this will become 1000 now. Okay, this will become what? 1000 now, right? Now from 1000, what I check is 1000 से मैं इधर जाऊंगा, मैं इधर check करूंगा ये null है क्या नहीं क्या करके. Okay, if it is a null, then what I'll do it, I'll copy this address, whatever the address I have it here, 2000, right? I'll copy this address to this position. Got it? How do you go for this position? Root of address, right? This is nothing but address, and this is nothing but what? Data, right? Root of address मुझे ये location मिलेगा आपको, हमको, right? Root of address बोले तो ये location मिलेगा आपको. Either you can tell it root of address, either you can tell it as temp of address. So now right now what I will tell it, I will take it with a temp itself. Why? Because I'll be doing the operation with this, right? So I'll tell it as temp of address. Okay, so simple line I'll be telling it as like this. I'll tell it as temp of address. If it is not equal to null, I will tell it. If it is not equal to null, okay. If it is not equal to null, I will tell it. Okay, but here the condition is it is equal to null. Right? Here the condition is what? It is equal to null. Temp of address, it is equal to null. At that time, what I'll do is I'll tell it as temp of address equal to t. I will tell it. Right? In this position, I will store it what? 2000. Right? 2000 where I want to give it? I want to give it as temp of address को देना पड़ेगा मुझे. Temp of address को देना पड़ेगा मुझे. Right? So what I'll do it, I'll come here, I'll tell it has here what? 2000. Instead of null, I will tell it has 2000 here. I'll tell it has 2000 here. So if I tell 2000 here, right? If I tell 2000 here, this block is linked to this block. This block is linked to this block, and this will remain null itself. Done. End with this. Now again, what I do is I'll create one. I will call one more time. Okay, what I'll call it? I will call insert method. INSERT, insert of 30. I will call it. Right? When I call insert of 30, guys, what happens? It will come here. It will create this two variable, no, t and temporary variable, garbage value is stored, and malloc method is called, and block is created. Like this, the block is created, right? The block is created now. The initial address of this one is given to whom? T, it is given it. So T is storing what? T is storing now 3000, right? T is storing 3000 now. All right. Now what I need to check it out. After that, I want to store here. What is my first job? I'll be doing it. I'll be telling here, next line, I'll be telling here null, and I'll be storing the data, whatever I am passing here, 30. That much is done, right? So after that, I'll check it whether it is a first node or not. I'll come here and I'll check it whether it is a first node or not. How do I check it? By root equal to null. So root is not equal to null. So where I will go, I will come to again to temporary variable. Now temporary variable will become what? Exactly to root. So its value is assigned to 1000. Now temporary will become 1000. Now what I want to check it, I'll check constantly. I'm checking whether temp of address, okay, temp directing to the address, either it is null, guys, it is not equal to null. Whether it is equal to null or not equal to null, it is not equal to null, right? It is not equal to null. Condition becomes true, right? Condition becomes true. Now what I want to do it, I want to make this temporary variable has what? 2000. How can I make this temporary variable as 2000, guys? I want to copy all the data, this data to this temporary variable. Simple thing. I want to copy it. How I am getting this 2000? I'm getting this 2000 by telling temporary of address, right? So how I'm getting that 2000 by just telling temporary of address, just telling for temporary of address. This address I want to give to whom? To the temporary variable. I'll give back to temporary variable. This should be done several times. This should be done several times until unless that location becomes null, right? So that I'll put it as a while statement. I'll put it in the while statement. This is very important. Okay, so I'll repeat it my word. I'll check it out. Temp of address ये null है क्या? Null नहीं है. तो मैं क्या करूंगा? मैं temp को मैं क्या बनाऊंगा? 2000 बनाऊंगा. कैसे 2000 बनाऊंगा? Temp of address में जो भी है वो मैं फिर से मैं temp को दूंगा. Temp क्या हो जाएगा? 2000 हो जाएगा. Temp what will become? Temp will become 2000. Now what is the temp is becoming? Again it will go for the while loop and is checking a 2000 of address. Null है क्या? हाँ 2000 of address क्या है? Null है. तो मैं क्या करता हूं? मैं क्या करता हूं? मैं नेक्स्ट लाइन में जो भी टी में है, जो भी टी में है for this location I will give it. जो भी टी में है, जो भी whatever inside the t 3000 you have it, right? Whatever inside the t I will give to this location, right? Now this location will become what? 3000. This location will become what? 3000. When it becoming 3000, I am connecting to this. I am connecting to this. I am connecting to this. Okay, which line it is giving? This line is the reason for linking. Okay, this line is linking. Okay, this line is linking. Okay, this line is linking. क्या कर रहा है? जो भी टीम में है मैं वो लोकेशन में जाके दे दे रहा हूँ. This line is for what? This much. This much is for what, guys? This is for what? Jumping. Okay, my jumping statement. मैं हमेशा कभी भी jumping statement बोलूंगा तब ये line याद रख लो. How to jump from one node to another node. This is how you will jump it. Correct? To jump it, you need to have an initial address. Where is this initial address? Inside the root. That root initial address I'll be copying to one variable, temp. Why temp I'm copying it? Because in future temporary variable is changing. Here, look onto here. Temporary variable is overriding it. I cannot override the root variable. Why? Because if I override the root variable, I will lose my entire data. I will lose my entire data. Right? Now one more thing. What I'll do it? I will tell it as what? I'll tell it as what? I'll tell it as insert. Insert. I'll tell it as 40 now. I'll tell it as insert of 40. When I tell insert of 40, again the same procedure happens. It will come here. It will create two local variables, and this one also local variable. It will create it, and it will assign this one data as 40. And it will come here malloc function. It will go and create a block. Right? It will go and create a block. Now, when it is going and creating a block, what happens now? So it is going and it is creating a block here. Right? It is creating a block here. It is creating a block here. Now what happens? The malloc will return what? Initial address. That initial address is stored where? Inside the t. Now t will become what? 4000. Now t will become what? 4000. Right? The t will become what? 4000. Now what is checking it? What is the first step? I will come here to the address. To this address, I'll make it as null. T of each time local variable है ना? Local variable है ना? Each time whenever I call the method, this t is created again and again. This t is created again and again. ये fixed नहीं है, global नहीं है. Okay, tempo when I'm creating first node, it will be 1000. When I'm creating second node, it will be 2000. When I'm creating third node, it will become 3000. When I'm creating fourth node, now it is 4000. I'm just assuming the address, right? So क्या करूँगा मैं? इधर 4000 of null इधर आके null करूँगा, इधर आके मैं data store करूँगा, right? This is the line where I'm doing it. I'm assigning it. This is the line, right? So इधर create करके मैं assign कर दूँगा, null assign करूँगा और data assign कर दूँगा. Later on, I will check it whether root equal to null, whether root is equal to null, whether root is equal to null, root is not equal to null. That means this is not a first node. Yes, it is not a first node. It is true, right? Later, what I need to do it, I want to link it. I want to link it. What is my first job? I will do it. When I want to link it, I will copy this root. Whatever I have it in a root, I will copy it to this t variable. Now 2000 is gone. T variable, I will copy it. I'll copy it to the t variable, right? So when I copy it to the t variable, now what happens? I want to use the jumping statement. I want to use what? Jumping statement. What is the jumping statement now? I'll check it out whether this one is null or not. If it is null, I will add this 4000 to here. If it is not null, I will again jump it. Right? That is what I'm telling it. Okay. So I'll come here 1000 of address. 1000 कुछ जाएगा और address इसके अंदर का address देखेगा. Right? इसके अंदर का data देखेगा. Null है क्या? नहीं है null. क्या करूँगा मैं? ये 3000 को इसको copy करूँगा. Now ये t क्या हो जाएगा? ये t क्या temporary variable क्या हो जाएगा? 2000 हो जाएगा. Right? This will become 2000 now. Now again, temporary value is changing. Temp of address, temp directing to the address. ये null है क्या? नहीं है. ये 3000 है. क्या करूँगा मैं? ये 3000 इसे copy करूँगा. Now temporary variable will become 3000. Right? Temporary variable will become what? 3000. Again temporary variable will go for 3000. 3000 of address. ये null है क्या? हाँ ये null है, right? This is a null, right? So that what I'll do it, whatever it is in the T, whatever it is in the T, I will copy to this location, right? That there is where I'm linking it. There is where I'm linking it. ये jumping करके मैं क्या करूंगा, T में जो भी है ये जाके इधर जाके store हो जाएगा. Temp क्या है 3000 of address में जाके store हो जाएगा. That means I'm getting a connection from this one to this one. So this becomes what? This location becomes what? 4000. This location will become what? 4000. Just a link I am making it. Done. Just a link I am making it. Done, guys. Okay. So I'll be writing in a restructured way. Okay. So much is done. This one is done. This is for the first node when it is a first node, and when it is a second node, it is coming here and it is doing this. And later on, it is not returning anything. Since it is not returning anything, so I'll tell it as what? Void type, right? So what I need to do it, I'll come here, I'll declare this method. What is the method? It is a return type is void, method name is insert, and you have a parameter called as integer type, right? Integer type. So I'll be doing so much, right? INSC RT insert. That's the thing. Done, guys. Okay, so I'll be running this program. I'll be not getting any of the output. Let's say we have played something. We have played with something. What is that we have played it? I want to access this 40. How do I access this 40? How do I access this 40? I know root variable is storing initial address. Alright, मैं क्या करूंगा? root से मैं इधर जाऊंगा. इधर से मैं इधर की जाने का जरिया मिलेगा मुझे. 2000 बोल रहे इधर को जाने का जरिया मिलेगा. So what I'll do it? 3000 से मुझे इधर को जाने का जरिया मिलेगा 4000 को. 4000 से मुझे इधर से मुझे 4000 को जाने का जरिया मिलेगा, राइट? इधर से मुझे 40 मिल जाएगा, राइट? हाउ डू आई डू इट? सिंपल थिंग, like I'll go here, I'll tell it has what? I'll come here. If it is a proper link, okay, then I will get it, right? So printf, I'll tell it as %d, I'll tell it as /n. कहाँ से स्टार्ट करना है? रूट से मैं स्टार्ट करूंगा. रूट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इफ आई लूज द रूट, आई लॉस्ट एवरीथिंग. रूट से मैं क्या करूंगा? एड्रेस जाऊंगा. thousands of एड्रेस के अंदर क्या है? 2000 है, राइट? सो 2000 को क्या करूंगा मैं? 2000 को जाऊंगा मैं ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ. 2000 को ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ. अच्छा 2000 को ट्रैवल किया तो मैं एड्रेस को एलोकेट किया तो मुझे क्या मिलेगा? मुझे 3000 मिलेगा, राइट? आई विल गेट इट व्हाट? 3000. Again I will travel to 3000. In 3000, if I access address, I will get it what? 4000, right? I will go to 4000 now. I will go to what? 4000 now. Inside the 4000, either I can tell it as I can access two data, right? One is address, other one is data. So I'll tell it as data. I wanted it right now. I'll tell it as data, right? So what I'll do it now, I'll come here. Right? If it is a proper linked list, I'll be getting it. Okay, I'll be getting the as 40. Nothing to worry about it, right? And I'm telling you same thing again as series concept itself. Instead of telling this one, right? Address. That is what I have done it here. That is the same thing I have done it here. Okay, ये looping में चल रहा है. ये एक ही shot में मैं लिख लिया बस. एक ही direction को. And this is a generalized logic. No matter whatever the link is for you, right? Whatever the link is for you. Okay. So much you understood, guys. If you have any queries, let me know about it.